Welcome to the Dermatology Studio with Dr. Yusra Ayaz.
All right, welcome. Today, we're really going to put your clinical eye to the test. Get ready for a diagnostic challenge as we quiz you on 12 pretty distinct types of eczema. So, think you can spot the difference between all of them? Let's find out. We've got some clinical vignettes, some classic presentations, and definitely some tricky variants to sort through. Let's see how you do. Okay, let's kick things off with part 1, the foundational eczema quiz. We're starting with some of the more common presentations you're likely to see. You ready? All right, first case up, we've got a 52-year-old man. Now listen for the key clues here. Coin-shaped, well-demarcated, and central clearing. What do you think? What's the diagnosis? And if you said nummular eczema, you nailed it. The name itself is the biggest giveaway, right? Nummular just means coin-shaped. These are your classic circular plaques, often starting with these tiny little vesicles on a red base. As it progresses, it develops that signature scaling and clearing in the middle. You'll typically spot it on the lower legs and hands. And fun fact, it has a curious distribution. It tends to affect younger women and older men. Okay, let's get to our next case. This time, an elderly woman. It's winter, and her skin has this really specific pattern they're calling crazy paving. What are we thinking here? That's right, the diagnosis is steatotic eczema. And that crazy paving pattern, that's your absolute dead giveaway. This is the kind of eczema you see in super dry skin, which is exactly why it flares up in the winter when the humidity just plummets. The skin gets so dry, it literally cracks into that unique pattern, usually on the legs, arms, and hands of older folks. All right, question number 3, and this one is a pediatrics case. You've got a 5-year-old with these pale, not so clearly defined patches on their face. What's jumping to the top of your list? And the answer is pityriasis alba. You know, the name really tells you everything you need to know. Pityriasis means that fine scaling, and alba, of course, means pale. It's this low-grade eczema that's super common in children, typically right on the face. The patches usually start out a little bit red with a fine scale, and as that redness fades, it leaves behind that characteristic pale, hypopigmented patch. Okay, here's your next challenge. We've got a middle-aged man, and pay attention to these texture clues. Cigarette paper wrinkling and digitate, finger-like projections. What condition sounds like that? That would be chronic superficial scaly dermatitis. And this case is a perfect example of how specific skin texture can be a huge diagnostic clue. Those round or oval patches have this really unique wrinkled look, almost exactly like cigarette paper. And when they form those finger-like shapes, that's what we call digitate dermatosis. You'll typically find this on the limbs and trunk, usually in middle-aged guys. Okay, on to the next one. This time, we're looking at a kid's foot. It's described as shiny, glazed, cracked dermatitis on the forefoot. But here's the kicker. The toe clefts are spared. What does that immediately make you think of? That's gotta be juvenile plantar dermatosis. And that little detail, sparing the toe clefts, is so important. It's the classic way you tell it apart from something like tinea pedis, athlete's foot, which just loves those moist spaces between the toes. Instead, what you get is this shiny, dry, cracked dermatitis right on the sole of the forefoot in kids. All right, last question for this section. We have an older woman, she's got a history of varicose veins, and now she has these scaly, weepy lesions around her ankle with some brownish discoloration. What's the real issue going on here? And that is a classic case of venous eczema. You see, this isn't just about the skin. It's a direct result of venous hypertension from poor circulation. That blood just pools, causing inflammation, which shows up as this red, scaly, and sometimes oozing rash. And that brownish color? That's from hemosiderin deposits as red blood cells leak out. It's a big deal, because if it's not managed, it can progress to swelling and even ulcers. Okay, fantastic job on part 1. But now it's time for part 2, the hand eczema challenge. We're going to switch things up and do a lightning round here. Because let's be honest, the hands are tricky. So many types of eczema can pop up. I'm going to fire these off quickly, so get ready. All right, lightning round 1. Here we go. Thick, scaly patches on the palms? That's hyperkeratotic palmar eczema. Recurrent, super itchy vesicles? That's palm felix. Eczema shaped like an apron over the knuckles? You're looking at apron eczema. And the one with high IG that needs oral steroids? That's chronic acroal dermatitis. How'd you do? And we're not stopping. Lightning round 2, let's go. Painful, cracked fingertips in the winter? That's fingertip eczema. Asymmetrical patches with nail changes? That's patchy vesicular-squamous eczema. Mild vesicles in the finger webs on a meat handler? Think slaughterhouse eczema. Sudden peeling with almost no irritation? That's recurrent focal palmar peeling. And finally, that annoying patch under a ring? Classic ring eczema. Whoa, okay, that was fast. Let's just take a breath and recap those key features. For hyperkeratotic, you're thinking thick and scaly. For pompholyx, think those deep, recurring blisters. Apron eczema is all about that specific location over the knuckles. And ring eczema is pretty much exactly what it sounds like, irritants getting kept under a ring. And this slide shows the difference so perfectly. On the left, you've got that painful, dry cracking of fingertip eczema. Then on the right, you see the really extensive, thick scaling of hyperkeratotic palmar eczema. See? Both on the hand, but they look totally different. All right, you've made it to the home stretch. Welcome to part 3, where we're digging into some specialized variants. These are the kinds of conditions that are often secondary to something else or have a really unique cause. So here's the case. We've got eczema popping up around a chronic wound. The key signs to notice are the greasy scales, the sharp margins, and those little pustules. So what's really driving this whole presentation? The correct diagnosis here is infective eczema. And this table, it highlights a really important difference. Infective eczema is when you already have eczema and it gets a secondary infection. But infective eczema, like in our case, is when the inflammation is actually being caused by a direct infection, usually around a moist place like a wound. Those greasy scales and pustules are the classic signs you look for. Okay, here we go. This is the final challenge. An eczematous ring around a mole. That's halo dermatitis. What about a similar ring but around a seborrheic keratosis? That's a myasthenia gravis. Multiple seborrheic keratosis showing up where old eczema used to be? We call those Murray-William warts. And lastly, that thick, leathery patch of skin from chronic scratching? That's your classic lichen simplex. So let's lock in those final diagnoses. Halo dermatitis and myasthenia gravis are basically inflammatory reactions to other skin growths. Murray-William warts are a really weird after effect of resolved eczema. And lichen simplex, well, that's the classic result of that vicious itch-scratch cycle, where all that rubbing physically thickens the skin. It really makes you realize that a simple rash can have a dozen completely different backstories. It kind of makes you wonder, right? How much of a diagnosis is just seeing the pattern versus knowing the story that created it? Thanks so much for testing your skills with me today.
Thanks for watching. Hit like, share, and subscribe to the Dermatology Studio. Ask your skin queries in the comments below.